My family disowned me 15 years ago for going to jail. Now they all showed up together to stalk me, and I finally confronted them. 15 years ago, when I was only 19, I made some mistakes. I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail over an issue with my driver's license and some accumulated fines that I couldn't pay on time because I could barely afford rent. I didn't hurt anyone, and I wasn't dealing substances, but to my family, it was unforgivable. They claimed I'd tarnished the family name and disowned me completely. They left me entirely on my own, with nothing and no one. It took me months, but I got through it. I finished college, achieved stability in my career, and to erase any connection to them, I changed my phone number, my email, and my last name. I locked down my social media to the level of a state secret. Today, at 36 years old, I live a quiet life, work in healthcare management as a unit secretary, and I am happier than I've ever been. Or at least I was until 2 weeks ago. One day, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, I found myself face-to-face with my parents. I hadn't seen them in 15 years. The only thing I could voice was, "How did you find me? And what are you doing here?" Without a shred of shame, my mother replied, $5,000 to a private investigator. In the end, a Facebook search with just your first name and the PI confirmed it was you. When I demanded to know what they wanted, she looked at me and said, "It's been 15 years. I see where you are, and it looks like you learned your lesson and are succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things." My blood boiled. I shot back. Yes, I learned my lesson. One of them is to never expect anyone to help you or be understanding, not even your family. And yes, I succeeded, but I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back. I slammed the door in their faces. I thought that would be the end of it, but they started stalking me. They followed me everywhere. At first, I tried to take it with humor with the help of a friend who called them the fleas and would tag along to ridiculous places just to watch them embarrass themselves trying to follow us. But the final straw was when they tracked me all the way to the train station for a weekend getaway. They kept trying to talk to me while I had my AirPods in, ignoring them completely in front of the entire platform. When I got back, I decided this had to stop. I set up a meeting with them at the park right across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I warned them that this would be the absolute last time I would ever speak to them, and that I was acting as their judge and jury. I demanded to know why on earth they were showing up now. Their response disgusted me. They said my name had come up again during family gatherings because the family had grown. I now have nieces, nephews, and in-laws who were asking about me. They said that seeing my apartment and my current life, they assumed I had finally learned my lesson on how to be a better person. I cut them off completely, feeling my heart pounding in my ears. I yelled at them that I had built everything entirely on my own. No one from my past exists in my current life. I demanded that they tell the truth to the new family members, that they locked me away for 2 weeks and decided to throw me away because of it. I warned them that I would get a lawyer, and if they ever came near my property again, I'd have them arrested for trespassing. I went back home, locked everything down, and broke down crying from pure rage and helplessness. Update: I haven't heard from them since that confrontation in the park. However, a few days ago, my cousin Jean came back from vacation. She is the only person from my entire family line that I stay in touch with. In fact, when I changed my name, I adopted hers. Jean came over with wine, pizza, and a cheesecake. The moment she saw my face, she knew something was wrong. She hugged me until I calmed down, and over dinner, I told her the whole story. When I finished, a vindictive smile crossed her face, and she said, "It's time for you to know some family secrets." First, she reminded me that what happened to me at 19 wasn't my fault, but a perfect storm of bad luck, and that I was no criminal. But then she dropped the real bombshell about my parents and their precious pride and social status. It turns out that when I changed my last name to distance myself from them, I chose Jean's last name because she was the only one who helped me. But Jean revealed that, by pure coincidence, that was actually my grandmother's maiden name. She looked straight at me and said, "Don't let your parents fool you with their flawless, upper-class act. They are not the saints they pretend to be to the world. When you were born, they were actually separated, and your mom was hiding you from your dad. My grandparents couldn't stand him, which is why they registered you under Grandma's maiden name first, behind his back. Jean was furious as she told me the rest. What social status or model son bullcrap are they talking about? With what face do they claim you embarrass them in front of society? In that house, the one who came from a family with money, land, and local businesses was your mother. Your father arrived in town without a single penny in his pocket, a complete nobody from out of state looking for a job. Your dad has been living comfortably, riding on your mother's money and connections his entire life. He's a hypocrite. If your grandparents were alive today, they would laugh in his face and defend you from all that garbage about tarnishing the family honored. Knowing all of this made me see my parents in a completely different light, and none of it is positive. I realized their so-called pride was nothing but a fragile facade to hide the fact that my dad is a gold digger and their marriage has always been a sham built on keeping up appearances. This only reaffirms what I want now more than ever, for them to stay in the past, right where they chose to leave me 15 years ago. The truth always finds its way. What do you guys think? Was I right to keep the door shut permanently? Or do you think my cousin's revelation proves they've always been hypocrites who only care about what others think?